The Boston Bruins are defying all expectations as they continue to dominate the NHL due to the stellar play of an emerging star and some already established stars in this league. In this video, we're going to break down the Boston Bruins season so far and talk about the keys to their early success, so you're not going to want to miss this episode of Hat Trick HQ. But before we dive into everything here on the channel, I just want to say we're about 500 subscribers away from hitting our goal of 19,000. So if you want to stay up to date on everything Bruins, everything around the league, and especially with the Olympics coming up, we're going to be your home for all hockey content here on YouTube. So make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. With that said, we're going to dive right into the Boston Bruins, because who would have thought at the beginning of the season, 20 plus games in, the Boston Bruins would be where they are right now, dominating the league and battling in the what is so far close Atlantic Division. Currently, as of recording after last night's big win against Matthew Schaefer and the New York Islanders, back in the library, as Zadorov would say, they with a 3-1 win, they are now still in the third in the Atlantic Division, which puts them in a playoff spot at this point. But yes, as you can see, it is a tight race with some teams trailing them by just 1 point. They need to continue this success to get into the playoffs this year, and I definitely think that they can definitely do this, and it's all because of one player who is stepping up this season. I know a lot of you guys probably know who I'm talking about already. That is Morgan Geekie. Let's dive right into his stats so far this season. So far in 25 games, Morgan Geekie has 17 goals, which is up in the league right now. We're going to get to that in a second. 6 assists for 23 points, 17 goals on 66 shots is a pretty good shooting clip in my in my eyes. 25% or almost 26% on the season, which means 26% of the time he's shooting, he is scoring a goal. Also logging 17 minutes of ice, time on ice this year. It's great to see this guy break out and have the season he is at 27 years old. Seems like he's always been around here the last couple of years, chipping in game to game for this Bruins team, but he's really stepped up his play this season and is really finding, his groove from shooting from mid to long range, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But currently, he is second. He was tied for first yesterday, but Nathan MacKinnon went out and got one last night, so that puts him from first in goals across the entire NHL. So he is now in second place with 17 goals, which, there's some big names on this list. Look, Leon Draisaitl, Jason Robertson, Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, this guy's having a season that is putting him up amongst some of the best in the NHL. And this is over his last 24 game stretch. This was recorded before, this stat was recorded before last night's game, but he didn't get a point, so it's still relevant here. Through 77 games last season, he had 33 goals, 24 assists for 57 points. But in 25 games now, he has 17 goals, 6 assists for 23 points. Which, as of yesterday, like I said, he was tied for first, but he's right now on pace for, a potential 40 goal season. A great step up for Morgan Geekie here. And this is the mid to long range shots I was talking about since 21-22. So this is the most goals combined from mid to long range. So not close to the net, but kind of like, middle of the hash marks to the blue line out. David Pastrnak leads this with 30, obviously one of the great snipers in the league today, but Morgan Geekie is currently on pace for a combined 38 goals from mid to long range. So that is a huge stat for him. It means like he's not getting many tap-ins or cross creases, which he still is doing that, but when he finds his spot and he feels comfortable to shoot from mid to long range, he's putting it in the back of the net, and there's not a lot of players around the league that can do that efficiently, and that's what we're seeing this season from Morgan Geekie, which is great to see. I mean, I wouldn't have pinned the Bruins to be one of the best teams in the Atlantic going into this season, but they've stepped it up big time this year. They lost a lot of players, in the last few years, obviously trading Marchand out last year. Everybody kind of thought that they were going to go into a rebuild, but they've kind of just had a little retool here, and, with one of the best goalies in the league in Swayman, I mean, they can get it done night in and night out. We're going to get to him in just a little bit. But first, I do want to touch on David Pastrnak. Obviously, he has been a stellar player across the NHL for many years now. At 29 years old, if they're 25 games this season, he has 29 points, over a point per game, 11 goals, 18 assists. We're seeing a lot of assists out of Pastrnak this year, which you love to see, logging about 20 minutes of ice time. Which is great to see as well. And David Pastrnak, if you've been watching Bruins hockey over the last decade, you know how good this player is. And obviously you see that with that stat category from mid to long range shots there. He leads since the 21-22 season. He's been one of the best goal scorers in the league over these last few years. Kind of, I would say underrated in my eyes. His a big name is a household name against the NHL, but in terms of, successful teams, Boston's kind of been on the outs for a little bit, but it looks like this season, with whatever they've done to retool this team, bringing in some key defenders and Zadorov and guys like this, has really helped this team get back and give themselves a fighting chance for a playoff spot. And David Pastrnak has been a big reason to that, leading this team in points so far, leading this team in points almost every season. I would say probably every season. I haven't stat checked that, but I'd put money on it that he has over the last few years. So it's great to see, him continue his success and try to get back into the playoffs. And I think the Bruins are on their way there because, look at Jeremy Swayman last night against the New York Islanders, 42 shots faced. He had 41 saves, only let one goal in, a .976 save percentage. You barely see this from any goaltender in the league when they have 40 shots. He stopped 41 shots last night, putting up an insane save percentage. And as you see here, across the entire month, he hasn't had a save percentage below 900, which, that means the goaltender's red hot. When the goaltender's red hot, the team is going to be red hot as well. And just looking here at another insane stat from Jeremy Swayman, he now has 6 40 save wins in his NHL career, joining the list of some great Boston goaltenders of Tuukka Rask and Tim Thomas. So it's great to see, Swayman kind of keeping this team in games and keeping this team alive and still, being the goalie that we all know he can be. And obviously after Ullmark left, a lot of people were wondering, is he going to step up and still show this team that, they didn't make a mistake by getting rid of Ullmark. And of course, he has stepped up in a big way this season, and it just continues to get better. As over his last 5 starts, he is 3-2. But look at that save percentage, not a .944 save percentage, 180 goals against average, and he stopped 153 shots of 153 out of 164 shots. This guy has been on demon time this year. He's just been a sponge. He's just positioning, and the way he reads the puck coming through the net is unworldly, and he's just stopping so many saves. And looking at this stat from Money Puck here, he is now leading among all goaltenders in goals saved above expected, meaning he's saving 16 saves. He's made almost 17 saves that should have been goals, which means he's saving more than what the stats have predicted, which is great to see. A great stat to hold as your number one, and he's definitely going to be in the conversation for the Vezina Trophy, I would say, this year if they continue their success, and I really do think that their success is going to continue. Right now the Atlantic is wide open. If the Bruins can keep up their play and their top guys like Geekie and Pastrnak can continue to contribute, I think this team definitely has a shot for getting into the playoffs this year. And I would be surprised at this point if they don't get in this year, because I think, what the GM and the front office are going to have to do here is when trade deadline comes, they're going to make a decision where, are we going for the playoffs, or are we going to, maybe sell out a little bit? But I think at this point, if I am the Bruins GM, I am going out, acquiring some key players to fill in some, holes in this lineup so that they can compete and get to the playoffs again, because it just, the NHL playoffs isn't the same without the Boston Bruins, in my opinion. So it'd be great to see them get back there. I'd love to see that as well. But I do want to talk about some other key players who are having some great years for this team. Like I mentioned, Nikita Zadorov. I mean, he's just a powerhouse back there. 8 points on the year, but I mean, his block shots and his hits. I mean, this guy's he's just putting out energy that a lot of people, can't, and you need that on your team. And obviously, Charlie McAvoy, a staple of this team, 14 points on the year. But what I do want to point out here is Fraser Minten. Fraser Minten is a guy that they acquired for Brandon Carlo in the trade with the Leafs. Boy, isn't that trade looking like a win for the Boston Bruins at this point. Fraser Minten, he's one of the, I mean, when I was following him through his junior career and when he first went to Toronto, I always said this guy's going to be one of the next best defensive centers in this league, and we're seeing that now. I mean, still only young, early 20s for Fraser Minten, but he's looking good this season, looking good on the penalty kill. This guy is going to be a great defensive center for this Boston Bruins team for many years to come. But there is also some, other new names there, like Victor Arvidsson, who has 10 points for this team so far. But as you can see through this list, there is a lot of players contributing. And when there's a lot of players contributing, it's only going to lead to success. It's only going to lead to team success. And that's what we're seeing in Boston right now. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think about the Boston Bruins so far this season? Do you think they have what it takes to make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs? Do you think they go out and who do you think they go out and acquire at this trade deadline? I'd love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're going to have all kinds of content here on the channel across the league, especially with the Olympics coming up. If you want to stay up to date on everything around the rosters, everything around that, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.